Hey everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I'm in the garden and I wanted to go ahead and talk to you about the pros and cons of using a raised bed versus your regular simple in-ground garden beds. I'm going to talk to you about which one that we feel has been better and which one can be better in terms of its ability to grow healthy, large amounts of your foods, in terms of cost, in terms of honestly body mechanics, which ones are more helpful and which ones can be a little bit challenging. We'll also go into the costs of these raised beds, for example, the ones that we have, and basically what our best choice we would say for someone wanting to go ahead and start their gardening. We're going to help you to decide on which one may be best for you. Today, we actually set up all these in-ground areas. We set up 2 large beds here and we did a bit of transplanting. And we did that because we found that our raised beds just weren't giving us the quality that we would like. And we also found, first con, for the raised beds, that it did not help to maintain as much moistness to the soil as we would like. It is not bad, especially if you are continually watering your plants, but as the weather warms up, it'll be much more challenging to keep up with the water demands. And you know, this time and experience going through the seasons, learning what grows best for you, and learning what your plant's needs are. Honestly, a gardener's best tool is themselves. Going out each day, looking, checking, observing, and seeing what your plant's needs are and what your garden needs are. So in terms of that first con about the raised beds, it seems that it does not allow for good maintenance of keeping the soil moist, so you really do have to be more on top of things with watering. We do have built-in water systems within our raised beds, so that does help, but still you're pulling more water out to supply for that, and of course that will affect your cost as well. Of course you'd have to put up the upfront cost for these raised beds. These raised beds can cost individually over $1,000 or so. Of course, if you get it at a good price when there may be a sale, then you'd have a good discount. But in terms of the size of raised beds that are here, the fact that it's made out of wood, it has its own watering system, and it has the framing so that you can actually turn it into a greenhouse, it makes it to be a little bit more costly up front. So that can be seen as a con because you do have to put out some effort there. However, if you feel that you want to have that greenhouse ability where you can put your canopy over, you want to have your wood already made up for you in terms of being pre-cut, then that is an option. You do have to put it together, but at least you don't have to individually make up those pieces to form your whole. So there are some upfront costs, and that is a con, along with the fact that it does not seem to be able to hold as much water as you would like, so you really have to be on top of the watering. I'll throw in a clip of us when we were actually building it so that you can see how we did it. We actually laid down some paper so that we would kind of stifle out the grass underneath, and then we did go ahead and line each of the beds with some garden fabric black fabric, and then we did an additional layer of plastic. So this is where we are now. We finished the bulk of everything, and actually the inner compartments. So let's see, it's coming along. All right. Plastic. Of course, if we want to avoid any of these materials, that would be a con. We don't necessarily want to have the plastic lining, but we did that so that we could kind of maintain the quality of the beds over a longer period of time. And this was our first time starting out with it, so we did what we felt was best at that time. But looking back, it would have been best not to have lined the bottom, because then there would have been a connection between the ground and the raised bed on top. And that may also affect your water maintenance as well. So that would be something else to look into in terms of the cons. A pro would be that, of course, it is raised. So some people specifically like to use raised beds because it saves them from bending down on the ground. But to tell you the truth, it's not that high. So in terms of the body mechanics of it, it can help you, but is it greatly increasing your ability to tend to your garden? Not that much, and you can honestly work around and do what is best for you, what makes you feel most comfortable. Some people use garden benches or a cushion, or honestly some people use little knee pads or nothing at all. We don't use any of those additional things. We just get down and take our time and do what we need to do, which is great exercise. It is physically stimulating, healthy for you to get down in the ground, touching the dirt, getting in there, moving your body around. So preferably for us, in terms of choosing the raised bed over the lower in terms of body mechanics, I would still go ahead and choose the lower, the in-ground bed. Another thing that you want to think about when purchasing a raised bed is, some people, of course, they want to have certain sections. So this would be another reason why somebody would go ahead and buy the raised beds, because they feel that it helps to really quarter off the sections that they would like to have, and they also feel that it helps in prevention of weeds. But we have found, since doing both types, that you can actually prevent weeds by using a good wood chip cover or mulch cover. That really helps you out a lot. And we haven't had any issues really around our fruit trees where we have our wood chips and other areas. It really helps to prevent the weeds from coming up. So you don't have to go and spend a lot of money buying a raised bed just because you want to prevent weeds. And you can also very nicely section out your garden in an in-ground fashion. You just take your time and quarter your sections off, and it can be very neatly maintained as well. So these are some of the things that I wanted to talk to you about in terms of pros and cons. You know, honestly, trying maybe a raised bed on a small scale to see how you like it, that might be helpful for you, so that you don't go out and make an expensive purchase if you don't need to. And then trying the in-ground beds, that would be an awesome choice to do too, so that you can see both sides. And that's honestly one of the best ways to know, is to make some observations and see what works best for you. I hope that this has been helpful for you. What have you used for your own garden? Do you prefer raised beds, or do you prefer the in-ground beds? I'd love to hear it. If you found this video to be helpful for you, please like and subscribe, and I look forward to bringing more helpful tips talking about home, gardening, sustainability, health, nutrition, and so much more. Until next time, do all you can to be more and more sustainable and be blessed.